A notification had came to my phone today, and it just proves without the shadow of a doubt that Mitch McConnell is trying to weasel his way out of having to most likely dig into his various accounts and cut that check with his latest stunt. Now, I just recently did a video about Mitch McConnell in which it revealed some genealogy information about him through ancestry. It revealed that his two great great grandpappies, I believe on both sides of his family, who are now, of course, deceased, owned slaves. 14 slaves to be exact. All but 2 were women. So you already know that they were using the women for breeding purposes, because when I did that article, it mentioned something about mulatto. So we know what happened with that. So the article that just recently came across my way is involving Mitch McConnell yet again, but this time he decided to drag in 44, Barack Hussein Obama. Mitch McConnell said that he and Barack Obama are descendants of slave owners. 2 things that stuck out to me like a sore thumb when he said that is, 1, he could not take that hit by himself. When I did that article and it was talking about his genealogy and it revealed that that his ancestors owned 14 slaves, it was only talking about him and his family, his ancestry. It didn't talk about anybody else but him. So he had to drag somebody else into it. Notice he did not drag 45 into it, which would have been a more easier person to pull into it, if not pull anybody in at all. But he had to leapfrog past 45 and go to the guy that only had one white parent and was only Caucasian on one side of the spectrum. The other part is he does not want to cut the check on his own, just off of his portion. He's letting people know that Barack Obama has a white parent that most likely is a descendant of a slave owner too. To be honest, if you are Caucasian in this establishment, 9 times out of 10, you are a descendant of a slave owner. My thing is, what did Mitch McConnell stand to gain from telling us something that was most likely so blatantly obvious? And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Barack Obama had mentioned that his mother was a descendant of slave owners. So if he mentioned that, then why are you telling us as if we didn't already know? Basically, what he's saying is, if I have to pay up, or if I have to cut the check, then so should the white side of his family. Now, let me remind you, this is the same guy that said that Barack Obama would be a one-term president. He did not like this guy from the jump. He ended up being in there 2 terms. Now, like I said, he leapfrogged over 45. He went to 44. He didn't go to 43. He didn't go to 42 or anyone beyond that. He went to 44. He went to the one that has a white parent, but is not fully white. Mitch, we are on to you. That's a nice little try that you tried to, like a little scheme, I should say, that you tried to pull up out of your ass. But it ain't going to work. It's not going to work. If Barack Obama's, if reparations had to come from her, so be it. But that doesn't negate the fact that it's going to come from you too, especially from you, because after reading that lengthy article and seeing all the stuff that you have gained as a descendant of your slave owning grandpappies, you will be paying up the most. Truth be told, look at the position that he's in. Senator. Senate leader. You practically had that position laid out for you. If you had to do any real work, it wasn't that much. But I was like, what did he really stand to gain from saying that? Was that supposed to like sway us away from you and say, oh, well, maybe we won't have to worry so much about Mitch? Nah. Sorry, Mitch, but that ain't going to work. That's just not going to fly. If the check gets cut, you will definitely be cutting a huge chunk of the pie. And see, what was revealed with Mitch McConnell is the fear that most palm-colored people in the establishment are afraid of admitting. And that is that they are the descendants of slave owners. Could you imagine if you as a black person, if you as an ADOS person was, say, in a relationship with palm-colored, and you found out that your palm-colored partner was a descendant of a slave owner? That's, of course, that wouldn't be so surprising. But how would it feel if you found out that your palm-colored partner, who was a descendant of a slave owner, ancestors owned slaves that were directly linked to you? I need to know the answer to that question. Like, how would that make you feel knowing that you are sleeping with, cohabitating with, procreating with the same person whose ancestors owned yours? I'm going to leave it off with that. Y'all let me know what you think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. I will talk to you in the next one.